Interview.
Okay, so Ys, the Oath in Felghana. Kind of an interesting story. In 1989, Falcom published Ys 3 Wanderers from Ys. A lot of 16-bit game fans probably know it because it was released on the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, and the TurboGrafx 16 CD back in the day in North America. And it was a very divisive game. A lot of people loved it, a lot of people absolutely hated it, and it's often considered the black sheep of the Ys series. Falcom was aware of this, and they decided, well, we don't want to have this black sheep in our series, so let's remake it. And they made what is probably the greatest remake of any video game that I've ever seen with Ys, the Oath in Felghana. They took arguably the worst game in the series. I liked it personally, but a lot of people didn't again. And they made it into arguably the best game in the series. Every aspect of it, from the graphics, music, gameplay, story, it's all been upped to the point where it's almost a totally different experience. If you've played Ys 3, there will be familiar things, but I mean, even if you've played Ys 3, it will be an entirely new game. The story of Oath in Felghana, it actually takes place early in Adol Kristen's adventures. Adol Kristen is the hero of every Ys game, with one exception, but that's sort of an outlier. But yeah, he's the hero of every Ys game, and each one basically has him washing ashore in some, foreign exotic land with his buddy Dogi. But actually, Oath in Felghana is all about Dogi in a way. It's Adol and Dogi returning to Dogi's homeland, Felghana, after hearing rumors from a fortune teller, among other people, a gypsy caravan as well, that Felghana had fallen under hard times, that monsters had started invading and crops were dying, and they wanted to go back there. Dogi hadn't returned for 8 years, so it's sort of Dogi's homecoming. And of course, Adol gets mixed up in all of this, ends up being the only warrior in town when there's a crisis in the nearby quarry, and he has to go save the mayor. And then there's this whole ancient evil thing. It's a very old school style story. Well, I think one of the big things with Oath in Felghana that a lot of people are gonna love, it is probably the hardest game in the series, but it's not frustrating. And it's hard to really get that across because a lot of people hear like hard game, oh crap, I'm gonna die all the time. Yeah, you probably will, but it doesn't set you back very far. The game has full retry features. If you die, you can basically restart from like the last screen zone-in point, and just exactly as you were at that moment in time, and just try again until you get it right. If you die on a boss, you can just retry the boss until you get it right. And if you die multiple times on a boss, you can actually permanently lower your skill level if you are feeling kind of wussy, I guess. Ys, the Oath in Felghana will be coming out on the PlayStation Portable toward the end of 2010.